What is up, everybody? Ninja Nick here with Tactical Gaming, bringing you guys a funny video. It's not like funny, ha ha ha, but it kind of is. At least funny towards the ATF because they're all whole like, oh hey, you're gonna be a criminal if you don't register your pistol brace, and yeah, we'll allow you to register it free with no tax. Hey, we'll waive the $200 tax stamp and all of that. Well, 0.6% of the entire country registered their pistol braces. That's a little over 255,000 people. That's it. That's it. Good job. Good job for all you people out there who didn't register your pistol braces with the ATF. Whether you signed up with FPC, GOA, or you just said, hey, guess what? The Second Amendment is all I need to protect me because that is what the Second Amendment is all about. And in all honesty, any law that goes against your Second Amendment rights, and I mean a law-abiding citizen's Second Amendment rights, is not a legitimate law. And also, any law that limits a law-abiding citizen only benefits criminals, because criminals are criminals for a reason. They don't follow rules. They don't follow laws. And all of you definitely followed in good steps when it came to the whole rule change. Keyword, rule change, because ATF cannot implement law. They can't say, oh, hey, we're going to just write this up and say, you have to follow this now. Can't do that. Has to be voted in by the Senate, Congress, all that kind of jazz. And in all honesty, y'all definitely need to call your, reps and say and demand that the ATF be abolished. We get rid of any and all gun laws other than the commonplace ones that we already have, background checks, whatever. That's totally fine. Get that, whatever. But the limiting of magazines, types of guns, all this other kind of stuff, pointless. Because criminals are going to be criminals. And the best way I would say to combat criminality is to allow the citizenry to actually defend themselves. And I mean, yeah, there's a lot of citizenry out there who are cowards, who would rather have someone else fight their battles, and that's totally fine. But there are a group of us who say, fuck that. And there's a group of us who are tired of watching all these criminals get away, get let out of, court, let out of jail, let out of everything that they do, but yet they're trying to scare tactic you into doing what they want and following rules and laws and saying, hey, you don't do it, we're going to arrest you. 255,000 people. Now, if you're a part of that group of the 255,000 people who registered your pistol braces, do know that now the ATF knows where you live, they know who you are, and everything else. If I were you, I'd be more worried about who you are than the rest of us who are either protected under the Second Amendment and or all the other people who decided to give, FPC, GOA, their money to basically be protected, even though you're technically already protected. Because also at the same time, anyone who's legitimately actually afraid that the ATF is going to be going door to door and all this other kind of stuff, don't be, because the thing is, the ATF still has to go to your local law, right, and actually implement search warrants and all this other kind of stuff. So they can't just show up to your home. And if they do, it's a bad idea, because bad things would happen, and they know it. Matter of fact, actually, Congress mentioned it several different times while talking to the ATF director, who is a complete incompetent idiot and should not have that job. And the only reason why he has that job, much like the FBI director, who is now being held in contempt for refusing to give information to the Senate Judiciary Committee. Go figure. Now, none of these people are going to be afraid of what they're doing, which is breaking the law and everything else, until they're held accountable, until they're thrown in prison and or executed for treason. It's one of those. I'm on the throw them in prison. But the thing is, do you really believe that's actually going to happen? Probably not. Which is where it's, guess what? Arrest him and hold them in trial for treason and then execute. Because then every state official, whether it's a senator, governor, sitting president, or anyone in the country, period, who gets tried and proven guilty as a traitor of this country, boom. Because that's how it used to be treated. And that's why we had less traitors back in the day compared to now. And, well, things aren't going to change until we, the people, make it change. And the first step to do that is call your local and state reps and say, hey, what are you doing to combat this? Now, Mr. Guns and Gadgets, Guns and Gear, and all those other guys, they did some videos about certain representatives who definitely are not going to be on our side, the people's side of, the 2A community. And I highly suggest you watch those videos. So watch Mr. Guns and Gear and Guns and Gadgets and, Langley Outdoors and all that. And if you live in those states and you have them as representatives, call their offices, write them, and demand that they step down. Or they actually do their job, which is protect the Bill of Rights, protect our way of life, and don't allow China to be doing what they're doing. And there's a reason. I did a video not too long ago about China invading here in Alaska where I live and basically being stupid and trying to invade on, one of our forts, Fort Wainwright. Well, ironically, what would be the best benefit for China, Russia, and or anyone who's an enemy of America? Now, anyone who goes, oh, China don't hate America, they have literally in their schools, they're teaching their children to kill Americans. Okay? This is in China. Now, the Chinese people, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of good Chinese people. Just like here in America, there's a lot of good Americans. Do we have some shitty ass leaders? Yes, we do. Much like China. Come on now. But it comes down to the people actually, showing their government who actually runs the bitch. Right? Here in the country, the reason why our leaders, our senators, and our governors are afraid of the people that they, are supposed to be representing is because they know they're doing stuff that's, one, illegal, and two, treasonous. So if you live in a state where you have a Republican leader, now, Republican and Democrat, that's just a name, and in all honesty, they all work for the same people. They work for themselves, and they work to divide this country. That's what their goal is. America was one of the best countries ever. Still is technically the best. But what is making us even worse is the division that we have. We have division all over the place. It used to be somewhat because of skin color. Not so much now. Like, at least it wasn't until recently of certain people becoming into power saying America is racist. But yet, we have literally Jewish people, white people, black people, Hispanic people. We have people of every demographic, right? Sexual standing, whether they're gay, straight, bisexual, whatever. Religious backgrounds of all kinds, all over the place, who are leaders in this country. You can't say this country's racist. You can't. Who leads China? Chinese people. Who leads Mexico? Mexicans. We're the only country that has people of every demographic, every background, everything. Here. That's why we're the best. Okay? So America isn't racist. Do we have racist groups of people here? Yeah. That's a given. But the thing is, until these people kind of learn to stop looking at like the skin color and start actually treating people on the content of their character, things won't really go. Now, I do have high hopes that actually would happen someday, but what we need to do is come together as a country. Who cares if someone's gay? Who cares if someone's straight? Who cares if someone is a Christian, a Catholic, pagan? It doesn't matter. If you love this country and you want your freedoms and everything else, we need to come together as one voice and sit there and demand that one, the FBI director Christopher Wray get thrown in prison. Period. Period. No deals, no nothing. This dude legit gave up $9+ million like a year or whatever pension to become the FBI director. Now everyone be like, oh well, hey, Trump appointed him. Trump appointed him under a very specific, acknowledgement. And well, honestly, he is just a people pleaser. It doesn't matter who's leading the country or anything. If the president of the United States says, hey, go after the people, he will go after the people. It doesn't matter. So this man needs to be held accountable. He needs to be thrown in prison and set as an example. Period. ATF just needs to be abolished. They're pointless. Now, did they have some use at one point in time? Yeah, they did. Not so much now. The ATF does not care other than to go after law-abiding citizens. You don't see them going after MS-13. You don't see them going after, illegal gun sales. You don't see them, going after anyone who's actually legitimately breaking the law. No, they're just going to, your house, my house, someone else's house because of like solvent traps, FRT triggers, or whatever else be the case. Or like, oh hey, we saw that you bought, this many guns in this amount of time. We're just curious. Do you have them? It's like, no. It's none of your business whether I have them or not. If you don't have a warrant, you can go fuck yourself. And how is it you're gaining this information other than illegally? But yeah, so we need to come together, demand that our state reps actually do something about all these groups that are going against our rights to own guns. Because there's more people who are killed by drunk drivers. If they're going to allow cigarette companies to sell poison to us and everything else, they can't sit there and blame a tool for being used by somebody. Okay? They want to sit there and go, oh, hey, look at all these racist people all over the place. Like, there was just a recent one about, like, a guy waving a Nazi flag and a Ukrainian flag and all this other kind of stuff, and you can guarantee they're going to call him some crazy white supremacist racist guy. But, guaranteed he's going to probably be some kind of CIA paid out fucking person to continue on the whole ploy of getting rid of guns. Because the only way our enemies, China, Russia, and everyone else, because you got to pay attention to what China and Russia are doing with the whole BRICS thing, the whole building up their economy, their own money, making their money stronger than our money. Well, got to pay attention to that, because every country that signs on with China and Russia are more than likely going to also be the next enemies that we're going to face in World War III. So you got to pay attention to that. Pay attention to what China's doing, because China's playing the long game. Okay? Between them trying to fly drones over Fort Wainwright, between them buying up farmland in the Midwest, buying up land up in Michigan, the fact that they're allowing their citizens to go to a certain city, certain country in South America that doesn't require anything other than a plane ticket. Come on now. They know what they're doing. They know what they're allowing. So, come together, go talk to your constituents, call them, write them, all that jazz. We need to come together and actually fight with our voices. Like, share, subscribe. Hope y'all enjoy it. Later, guys.